You don't know me.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.
Oh boy! Hi guys.
Guys,
Wow.
we decided
Drink after that episode.
Yeah, we need a drink for this is probably going to be the title of this episode.
Honestly, I've got liquor somewhere from one of our previous recordings. I
Y'all.
can't do this straight faced. That was a bad episode.
This was the first time I think we've actually looked at each other and gone, how are we going to make it through the rest of this? There are 20 more minutes of this. This was not a good episode.
No, it wasn't. This was, all right, it's episode 11.
Tell them about
season
it, Joy.
3.
Tell them about it.
Okay, it's his Return of the Future, which we had kind of high hopes for. It sounds, futuristic and exciting. Was not. It was not exciting.
It sounds futuristic. There's going to be spacesuits, anti-gravity.
There were no
Robots.
hoverboards, and this episode was trash.
The Ravens' losing streak continues, and Whitey forces the team to find another home gym in a
Where'd it come
incredibly tropey, I'm going to make y'all play in a dump.
You're going to have to work for it, kids.
Clean this place till it shines like the top of the
Chrysler
Chrysler building.
Okay, Annie.
Nathan gets upset at Haley when Dan puts the idea in his head that she's trying to trap him with a baby. Brooke finds an unlikely ally with her designs when she gets in Rogue Vogue. Ellie and Peyton continue to bond. Best part of the episode. I wish the whole episode had just been you two. Continue to bond over music by putting together an album that will benefit charity. And finally, Keith, dun, 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 returns to Tree Hill. But Dan gets in the way of his happily ever after with Karen.
And he twirls his mustache in his pinstripe suit.
Guys, let's not talk about it. I don't want to talk about it yet. I'm not ready to talk about it. I still have that bile taste in my throat where I'm like, We have to talk about what we talked about last week. Joy's
we have
love
a follow-up.
life. Can we just talk about Joy's love life, please? Because that's all I
Can we
fucking
talk
care
about the suitor whose Instagram we did a deep dive into? We'll never tell you who he is, but we know all about him.
We know.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Like I spend a few days thinking like, was I overreacting?
No.
I've been in moods where I was just feeling happy and friendly and like, hey, let's sit down and have lunch. You seem nice and I'm nice and let's have a chat. We're both kind of new in town and let's just sit and chat. And then like as the lunch goes on, oh wow, I'm really attracted to this person. Oh, maybe. So like I'm thinking, okay, maybe I could give him a little bit of space for that. Felt unsure. Hilary's just shaking her head. Nope.
No, you can't because we talked to our husbands. And
We sure did. Because there's going to be somebody who's like, God, you girls are so uptight. No, we're not. Because guess who else is mad about this? Our husbands.
Yeah, 100%.
We gave this thing the smell test to both Grant and Jeff.
Yeah.
And they've got notes. They're very upset. They both were like, that's absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah, we went
It's
to a
unacceptable.
sushi dinner. It was like the first time we'd gone to dinner with just the two of us, and we're like, we're not going to talk about the kids, And I was like, well, let me tell you about this with Joy. And I laid it all out for him, and I was like, just out of curiosity, have you ever invited a strange woman to sit with you during lunch where you talk for hours and don't tell her about me? And he's like, no. First of all, you're a psychopath and you would destroy her. But second of all, that's totally a date. That's 100% a date. And he was offended and he was like, let me see the guy's Instagram. And the Morgans don't think he's attractive enough for all of this.
I agree. By the
Joy,
way,
I think we're going to set the bar higher is what we're going to do.
Look, I'm just saying he was my type. If you walked into a room with cute boys and there was attractive men in there, that's probably the one you would have picked for me. Like tall, lumberjacky,
you do have
like
that
disheveled, smart. I was like, this is great.
Sure.
Disheveled.
But it's
we want more shoveled. All right.
We want a little more
picks.
shoveled than that. A little less diss. But truly, like when I talked to Grant about it, he was like, listen. And we talked about this last week, ladies. Like,
Grant's
we have many.
Grant's the kind of person who is like, he's he's sweet, open. I could see him like striking up a conversation with someone quite innocently, and just, you know. So I am actually interested to knowing particularly what he thinks too.
Yeah. By the way, one of my favorite things about my husband, still not used to saying it, still feels really fun, just to clarify.
It's so cute.
Is that it literally, like, I can take him anywhere. We can lose each other at a party, and he's always having a great time. He's made a new friend. Can't wait to talk to me about the person that he met and what we're going to do. And we wind up inviting people to dinner. I love that about him. His point was, look, it's great if you're social, but if you're hiding your life, you're lying. Yeah. He lied to her. That's what he said. He said that man lied to her. And when I said, yeah, you know, my feedback to Joy was, you and Maria could have had new friends in town. If you'd known that this guy and his fiance had a farm, like, y'all could have been family friends. And Grant said, exactly.
Yeah.
But he lied to her. When you leave out one of the most important facts of your life, you're lying. And not only, Grant's point was that not only did this guy lie to you, but he lied about her.
Yeah.
And to do that to the person that you have pledged your life to is dark.
All right, so that
and
relationship is doomed.
I was like, see, this is why we're mad. And Grant was like, we need to introduce Joy to someone. I'm going to think about this because this is unacceptable.
You guys know how sometimes like Entertainment Weekly or some of these news outlets will pick up things that we've talked about in the podcast and turn them into a news story? What the fuck are we going to do when they take the case of the lying farmer and they turn it into a news story? And it's like,
oh my God,
in the papers.
Case of the lying farmer.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, if we're going to do what the tabloids would do, for one more second, let me just follow up that in addition to y'all going through his Instagram, I showed it to Grant. And then I said, and look, because if you scroll so far down and you find the only picture she's in, and then you go to her page, he goes, let me guess, he's in every photo. And I said, yes. Yeah. So she tells the truth about her life. Yeah. And this man is telling a lie about his life, and I don't like it. And our families are all very offended.
It's a bad instinct. Even on the most generous benefit of the doubt level, even there, and you go, okay, he's just finding himself attracted and didn't expect to and doesn't know what to do. Listen, every time you have a choice to do the right thing or be selfish, and those moments happen every day, all the time, you have a choice in that moment. And what you do with that choice is the measure of your character. Ooh. That is who you are.
I mean, that
doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in the charity cases that you show up to take care of. It doesn't happen in all the big grand gestures. It happens in those small moments when you have a split-second choice and you have to do the right thing.
And what I will say is, we're all human. It's impossible to be infallible. Everyone has had low moments. Everyone has, you know, you think of your highest highs, you've got your lowest lows. You have things you regret. You have things about your past you wish you could change. You have decisions you wish you could have made differently. But, not to be, you know, tropey and annoying, but at our age, come on. Like, we're too grown up for this. Even 10 years ago, I could have gone, you know what? Maybe he felt pressured and they got engaged and he's trying to get out and he saw you and he didn't want to let the chance get away and he's breaking up with her next week. No, at this point, absolutely not. We're too old for this.
Adults.
We are so adult.
Yeah.
And the fact that when you gave him the opportunity to tell the truth and say, I asked you to have lunch because you seem so nice. And then we got to talking and then suddenly I thought, oh no, I've done this thing. This feels like a date. I don't know how to tell her I'm engaged. I'm embarrassed. And I should have just told you. I'm so mortified. If he'd said that, maybe you could be friends.
Literally,
maybe you could see him around town and meet his fiance at a coffee shop one day and you all could become friends and laugh about it.
Yeah.
But the way he reacted, well, if I had $1 for every time a girl hit on me, ew, fired forever. Goodbye.
Ew. The boys are on our side.
I don't need girls. I don't need to please, whatever.
Please.
I don't need you. I can get any girl I want.
Like, he's not a 24-year-old ding dong. We are grown-ups.
We are adults.
And it was the follow-up. That's what really kicked me. Because I was like, you know what? Walking away from that lunch and being like, okay, you know what? You had a weird moment. It's selfish and rude, but okay, fine. It was the follow-up 2 days later that was the real kicker. That's what it was. I wasn't going to say anything. I was like, I got your number, but I'm just going to back off. I'm never going to talk to this guy again. It's fine. It was the fact that that's why my immediate response was like, yeah, hey, you engaged? Why are you talking to me? Why are you talking to me?
Yeah. Why are you still here?
Why are you still here?
This ties in. perfectly to your storyline in this episode, Joy, because Haley is not suffering any bullshit.
Hey, there she
this
goes,
episode.
bringing it back around. There we go, Hillary. Nice.
No, but for real, as we're talking about this like ding dong boy, the world revolves around them. The world revolves around their goals and their hopes and their dreams. Fantastic. Congratulations, Nathan. You're good at sports.
Yeah.
This idea that like Haley's trying to trap him. His quickness to buy into Daddy's narrative is very unsettling to me. And also, I don't know.
I don't know. I could see it. I could see it because of the town history, because of Karen and Deb.
Well,
that's why it
sure.
feels like, okay, maybe this is a thing women do.
But we commented how yelly this episode was.
Oh, yeah.
So perhaps my issue is more with the way it was scripted, where if you notice in this episode, everyone went from 0 to 100 very quickly. And
every scene was only like half a page long. So it was just these tiny vignettes of people screaming at each other.
I don't want to do that. It was so
Let us
exhausting.
relax. Let us relax a little
What
bit.
I'll say is that your willingness to be vulnerable in real life is something that I really respect about you. And you've always been that way. You've always been the one to be like, hey, I don't feel good. This doesn't feel nice. Can we talk about it? Even when we were kids, you were the person that would be like, let's cut the I don't feel nice. Let's talk. Haley does that in this episode where she's like, okay, I understand that you're all whacked out right now, but this doesn't feel nice. So I'm not going to make it better for you. It's not my job to fix this.
Which is so great after she's been
Groveling.
Thank you. Yes. That, and I thought for a second, I was like, is this a defense mechanism? Because now she got him back and now he's being weird again. And so instead of being instead of turning it back around on herself, she's angry and like letting out all of her frustration that she's had pent up. Or is this legitimate? But it's legitimate. He's being irrational and crazy.
And I think it's really important, that line that she has been very willing to see his pain. She's been very willing to say, I hurt you and I know why you're struggling to trust me again. Haley and Lucas have this interesting parallel with that a little bit, but Haley's being kind and Lucas is being the king of misdirects. and I like that in this moment, this goes past his feelings and into an accusation that while you can say like, I get that you have trauma because this is your dad's story. How dare you? I love the way there's so much writing I could criticize in this episode, but that you were scripted to say what you said about being 17 and having your own dreams and your own career goals. It's like this idea that women just trap men with babies and you're like, hey, I'd have to carry it. I'd be a teen mom. I'd be giving up my future. Like, this isn't some casual thing to me. And it was such a nice
You're not the catch.
call out. Yeah. Like, it's not a small deal for a girl of any age to get pregnant. Screw you, dude. Like, I loved that there was that wherewithal.
It really is. Like, who do you think you are? Who do you think I am? How stupid do you think I am?
Yes. And
And
like
how
that
desperate for you do you think I am?
Right. It's like, oh no, baby,
gross.
I wanted you. I don't need you. This doesn't want.
Yeah.
And that goes into her being really clear about why she wasn't on birth control. She's like, I'm sorry, you're yelling at me. You left me. I was gone and I wasn't sleeping with that guy you thought I was sleeping with. And by the way, you could have not been the idiot at the end of the unprotected sex night, sir.
Duh.
I really liked that. I really liked it. It takes two, Nathan. I was like, yes, Haley, you're right. It sure does.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's never happened to me before. I mean, there are children present, but that moment of questioning, hey,
Accusation.
Hey, you were taking care of that, right? Because I didn't. Like I've never experienced that before.
Like, I'm sorry, excuse me?
Sorry, what?
Pardonnez-moi?
No, it's actually almost always their responsibility.
But you know what I think is really interesting about that? This is one of the moments where I relish in our on-screen friendship, in the Haley and Brooke of it, because the girls are being the adults in the room.
Yeah.
We're having a conversation and I'm like, I love that you're back with your husband. What? I'm mad at you that you had unsafe sex.
Yeah.
And we have this like safe sex talk that is actually frank. And once we get into it, we ask each other questions and there's no judgment. There's like real encouragement of exploration of a relationship dynamic. And thank God we're getting it somewhere with our female friendships, because with the boys, we're just being accused of ridiculousness.
It's totally ridiculous.
Throw my hands up. I've had it.
I agree. No, it's nice. It's nice to see that between us. I love our conversations. I do love our conversations in this episode, and that we
The
were
conversation
able to,
that you guys had was so much better than the conversation that Luke and Nathan had, because they essentially have the same conversation where he's like, Brooke and I had a pregnancy scare, and I get it, man, but like, you know, and it's so just broed out, and it doesn't get to any like point of honesty where it's like, hey, it's on us to always have protection. It's on us to be participants in this safe sex game. Like, at no point do they hold each other accountable in the way that the girls do. The girls are having this like very adult conversation. The boys are like, don't let anything get in the way of basketball, man.
And meanwhile, the girls are like, well, do you think in your subconscious mind you did really want to just launch back into your family? But you know what? It's the way we are.
Sports.
I mean, we by the three of us. That's kind of our game.
yeah.
Was there anything else redeeming in this episode? Like, look, I really thought Karen and Keith was going to be something I'd be excited to see, but it was so clunky. It's like,
You really didn't like it.
no, Keith came home and his face was all shaved and he didn't have sideburns. And also,
Where was his bandana?
Where's his
I don't know if his boots were even tucked into his jeans. Who is this man?
It's like, you know, Craig came on our show and talked about the fight that he had with our bosses about how they wanted him to be super clean cut. And so they wrote him out of a whole bunch of episodes. And it felt like, okay, well, you're coming back, but you're coming back on our terms. And the way that we can show that Keith is a new man is by tidying him up in this like super clean cut way. You're going to play, but you're going to play by our rules. And it just felt like if Karen was going to have the hots for Keith, she wanted, you know, mechanic Keith.
Yeah.
Keith with the floppy boots.
Aww.
That's the Keith I want.
I will say I did like that scene for him. Well, for both of them, really, when he fixed her car.
Yes.
And she came out in that little dress and
Oh, it was cute.
was just, it was so
That was nice.
sweet.
Well, how come I bet Andy could have a team of guys do this. All right, we're just going to
And
lay
then
it
she
out there,
just
huh?
dropped the honesty on him. I traveled halfway around the world, and
But that's what
everything I
happens.
wanted was right here.
When you're our age, there's no time. Why waste time? Why are we wasting time not just being 100% honest? You know, I love that about Karen.
Yeah, she got the memo. We're too old for this.
We're too old for this.
Let's
I
guess.
do like, though, that as much as they made him clean up, Craig was like, I'm keeping this bandana in my back pocket.
That's
We did.
like the
red one was there.
It was the picture of Bruce Springsteen's "Born in the USA" cover with the jeans and the red handkerchief tucked
was
in
so
the back.
great.
That
like,
was
there
his
it is, he
silent
got
rebellion. That was fucking Craig's silent rebellion. Just like, they can't win all the way. I'm going to let them win a
can't have
little,
it.
but they're not going to win all the way.
That's right.
Bandana's here to stay.
I love that. I will say, truly, for as much weird energy as there was in this episode, and as clunky as the scenes felt, and as much as I hated that they wrote Lucas to still be misdirecting Brooke and then to tease her about sex and that like he's not in love and then he's like, just kidding, I'm in love with you. Ew, ew.
Go
Enough.
read on the bed where there's light.
The highlight for me was Peyton and Ellie. I wanted the whole
It's bad
episode
for your eyes.
to be you and your mom on a road trip, meeting with bands and having her. It was like she was building the yellow brick road for you.
Yeah.
Like you
I
see
love
Ellie,
that.
right? You see her teaching Peyton all the cool, like rock and roll world band manager tricks. And as a viewer, I could see not just for her how refreshing it is that Peyton's in a moment of joy, but I, as Sophia, could see you as Hilarie having fun And it's so fun to watch you have fun.
That was it. It was a big change. I kept thinking, I was like, what is it about? I mean, you're beautiful no matter what, but there was a different light about you in this episode. And your hair was done a little differently, and your skin looked really glowy, and your makeup was lovely. But it was that you were happy, and it was so nice to just see Peyton being happy.
I felt very protected in my storyline with Cheryl. I wasn't being asked to do anything compromising. I wasn't having to kiss any of the boys on the show, which isn't like an awful thing, but it is, it's weird. I was just asked to connect with someone who I really, really, really liked. And it felt so fun and so safe. And in that scene where she's telling me about the day that Peyton was born, like I found myself as Hilarie just like hungry for that. Like I wanted to know every minute of that experience. And then what? And then what? And then what? And yeah, I think, I don't know. Watching her, she's so glittery. And like when she throws her hands up in the air when the band like agrees to everything.
Oh my gosh,
and
I loved
she
it.
lights up. I'm so enamored with this person in front of the camera and, like off screen that, I would can sign me up for anything Cheryl Lee ever does ever. Like she's just a magic person.
Our editors also did such a beautiful job because when you guys have that conversation, you say, not a surf is in. And she throws her arms up. Right when her hands get all the way outstretched is when Always Love kicks in.
You always notice the music cues. Look at you.
It's happening again. No, I'm not okay. It made me cry and I'm crying again. Like, it was such a moment. And I was like, oh God. It was beautiful between the two of you. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Oh, look at you. So
I just wish more of our storytelling was about those relationships. There's so much emphasis put on boyfriends, or girlfriends, like whatever. And I get it. Like I was the kid who was love crazy forever. But I also have like a family thing where I like stories about families because I'm not necessarily good at that all the time. And so I like watching it. I like those narratives because they help me understand like what I'm doing wrong or what I can do better or what maybe things should look like, you know? And Ellie is just, one of those little magical bubbles that we got to play in.
I also think that having more examples set can be really helpful, not just for us, now watching families, learning that kind of stuff in terms of how to navigate it, like you're saying, but as a young person, I think sometimes the reason that young love can feel so all-consuming or life-shattering when it ends is because we have so many shows like this that just focus on who are you in love with and who loves you. And
as though that's the most important thing.
As though that's it. And then you think, well, this is all I'm supposed to be thinking about. And when we watch episodes where we have a really good balance of these young kids finding themselves in their families, figuring out how to excel in school, find out what they're passionate about, in addition to, the beautiful fragment of life that is finding love, it feels more balanced. It's more enjoyable. And then things become less repetitive and tropey. Like if we do too much relationship drama, it gets annoying. And it's like we've seen it 100 times. If all Dan Scott has is to be the evil mustache guy, we're like, oh my God, they've made him do the same thing for 5 episodes. We get annoyed with it. I like a balance better. And I think it's why it's so refreshing having Peyton and Ellie having this beautiful storyline because it adds something to our show and makes it better.
Well, I miss, because I think that's a great point. I am just as excited to watch Haley fall in love with music and Brooke fall in love with her fashion line as I am to see them fall in love with Luke and Nathan. Like, cool. Great. It's that magic of the potential and the unknown and the excitement, like that's riveting to watch. And the reason this episode fell so flat is that we know all that content is there. And right now it's just like, boys. These boys are tough to deal with, and Lucas is being all, misdirect, and Nathan's picking fights to pick fights and repeating a cycle that is frankly boring at this point. It's boring to watch.
That's what we said. We all were just like, I'm so bored.
The cycle is boring. Dan Scott showing up with no redeeming qualities is boring. And sometimes what happens is when you have different writers on every episode, what I found with my character is that every single writer, every single visiting director wanted that moment of Peyton crying, right? And so you just end up doing that one thing over and over again. And I think that's what's happened with Dan. Everybody wants to have the Dan moment.
Yeah.
And it's just like, guys, we've done it for 3 seasons. Like, show Dan doing something fucking adorable. What if Dan saved a baby? What if there was a baby carriage rolling down the street and Dan saved the baby?
Yeah. And then Deb and Karen could have a great joke about, of course he did. There could be a moment.
Yes. I just think sometimes it's a pitfall of a writer's room where you've got different writers on every episode because everyone's working kind of in a bubble. And it's hard to know, like, what are you doing? Well, what are you doing? Well, what are you doing? All right, well, I won't make Dan crazy in this episode. I'll actually make him really likable so that it packs a punch in your episode. It's just...
I also think sometimes on a show with a cast of this size, people will get really focused on the thing that needs to happen. Like, they want Nathan and Haley to have this big fight because is Nathan going to become Dan? And then because that's such a focus, they'll get lazy with Dan.
Yeah.
Or, they want there to be this push and pull with Brooke. And somebody says, well, Lucas should tease Brooke with these misdirects where he says something that makes her feel real bad about herself. And then he'll be like, I'm kidding. You're my favorite person. I'm obsessed with you. And it's like a throwaway comment, but then 2 writers on 2 different episodes hear it and they each do it in their episode 3 times. So then you're like, well, I hate this. Instead of it being impactful, I hate it. So I wonder how many moments we had like that.
What if Dan was like a really good mayor? What if Dan was doing initiatives in the town that were actually wonderful? And then it was juxtaposed by this behind closed doors stuff. But instead, it's just all slimy.
It's a weird. I mean, we had 22 episodes, sometimes 24, I think.
Oof.
God. But it's funny now when you look at how it's TV shows are 12 to 13 episodes, at max like 16, but that's pretty rare. And they usually take a long time to draw out a storyline over that period of time. We had 22 episodes. I don't know why. I guess it just wasn't the thing to do. It wasn't popular back then. We always thought we might be canceled. So they were just like, we got to always wrap everything up so fast. I know.
Well, and I think that's a big part of it too, is when you have that many episodes, things do become repetitive because it's so much time to fill.
But they can do it. Like, it's an hour.
I mean, we can always flash back to Deb at the fire 20 more times.
Oh my God.
More flashbacks, please.
We got our money's worth.
That scene with her and Keith where it was shot all shaky, like we're watching 24 or whatever. It was like the Bourne movie
or like
came
an
out
episode of Intervention. I was like, what is this? Like, what handheld person is in the bed with these two?
Choices were made.
It was a very disjointed episode, but I will say, talking about it for the last 32 minutes, I realize there were more highlights than we thought because we really were bored the whole time.
Okay, who else? What else happened in this episode? Rachel submitted Brooke's designs. I liked that. That was a redeeming moment.
Wait.
Although she had an event, she had an ulterior motive.
This is the thing. We were getting to the end of that scene, and I'm watching me and Danielle being these real cute little rivals who are deeply obsessed with each other and mad about it. Like, I'm a big Rachel fan, guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, look, it's starting. We're cute. And then I walk away from her and she goes, no, thank you. And I was like, wait, what evil thing does she have planned?
Oh, dear.
I genuinely don't remember.
I don't either. I think that Rachel loves you. Like, I honestly think, because I remember being in high school and not necessarily like wanting to go out with a girl, but I remember there were girls that I was like, I can't stop thinking about this. Like, this chick is just in my brain.
Yeah.
Just in my brain.
Yeah.
Taking up
It's
space.
a girl crush.
Yeah.
Rachel's got a thing where she's fixated on Brooke, and she's like, I'm either going to win this girl over or I'm going to destroy her.
Or I'm going to win over her.
And I'm going to win over her by destroying her and then make her my pet. You know, like there's just like kind of this sexy power thing going on between the two of you that is
I like it.
fun for sure.
And
Could go
and
either
I
way.
couldn't help being amused by Danielle. And you can see it on my face.
Yeah, you're not pissed off. You're like,
when
okay,
she like
cutie.
admits it, and I have this like, I try to talk and I get stuck moment, and I'm like, oh no, that's real.
Yeah, you're not really mad. You're trying to put the puzzle piece together. And honestly, I think you two should just kiss. Like, you guys are super freaking cute. Yeah, there's a way, like, eventually you guys start mirroring each other in the way you wear your hair and the way you
I know.
dress. And it becomes this
Well, and then we
Bobsy
move in
Twins
together.
situation.
It's so cute.
Wait, you guys become roommates? I missed that.
Yes.
Does that happen?
Oh my God, Joy, this is why I'm like, what evil thing does she does? Because I know what's coming, but obviously not that well. If this show were being made today, Brooke and Rachel would have gotten a kiss, and I would have liked that.
yeah.
You know who else Brooke really likes in this episode?
Cute.
Uncle Keith coming back. I ran and jumped into his arms like Lois Lane launching herself at Superman.
Oh my God. Sophia, when you
really was
Brooke
adorable.
freaks out and is like, oh my God. But your body like blocks who you're running up to go see. So I had zero
Because I was
idea.
flailing, running towards him. I really missed Craig. I don't know what else to say.
We
Should
all
that be
missed
the
Craig.
poll?
It was great that he was back.
Should the poll be, should Brooke have been that excited to see Uncle Keith? Like, should she?
I liked it.
I liked what you said, Hill. That's what you do. It's like a cute young girl thing to do. And you know what? I still do it. Like, I want to care about the things that you care about. I'm going to show that I care.
It's a good girlfriend
that's
move.
sweet.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
this is my boyfriend's
It
favorite
was so
person.
cutie.
And plus, we all really missed Craig. He was such
Yeah,
a good energy.
We missed him a lot.
we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like that Craig was given these jokes. Once I say, you know, I'll go sleep on my couch, you guys have time to catch up, and Craig and Lucas leave together. He, at the fountain, had jokes to insinuate that we knew how ridiculous the fire storyline was. And I liked that the writers did that.
Yeah.
I liked that they had him poke fun at a pretty major jumping of the shark that we did on our episode. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
Well, because it doesn't feel like part of our show. It still does. Like, it's so out of left field. Like, someone tried to murder Dan and then he won the mayoral election. Like, it's all just so extra. And there's no, and Dan's still showing up at like random gyms. He's everywhere. And I like the new gym because I think one of the problems our show gets into is that it's the success curse. If every kid on the show is like the best at something.
Yeah.
And everyone's successful at everything and everything's shiny and winning, it loses its relatability with our audience. And so, so taking the kids out of the fancy gym and putting them in a gym that actually looks more like some of the schools, you know, that I grew up around is the schools I grew up around were all built like in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. You know, there was nothing that was shiny and happy. And so
I remember
like-
that gym. That was out. Where was that? That was out in Burgar or something.
Honestly,
Burgar, I
the
think.
reason that we got kicked to that gym is that it was actually basketball season for the real high school.
Oh, yeah.
And like we just couldn't film there anymore.
Yeah,
They're
I
like,
think so, too.
Oh, we got to find an alternate place. For years,
Yeah.
they said they were just going to build a court on the stage, right?
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't.
I
Because
don't
they
either.
kept threatening to cancel us. That's why. I mean, it's great. It brought in revenue for the city and for the schools, I'm sure. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think we needed to bring it back down to earth a little bit. It was becoming a lot dynasty.
We had to get into Whitey's crap hole.
Oh God.
What did he say? He said, crawl out of my crap hole. What did he say?
He said, get out of my crap hole, Danny. And I was like, did anybody think about what this sounded like when they put it on a page? Did they?
Very committed, man.
Very committed. And you could see how amused he was by it.
Totally.
That little twinkle in his eye. Oh my
gosh.
God.
Well, guys, we have managed to fill up 35 minutes of time miraculously. But we have something exciting because you guys will remember, sir, for our listeners, we did a contest and we invited you all to listen back to old Drama Queens episodes and answer questions that we asked you that you could only get the answer from listening to our episodes, not from anything online. And so we found a winner, and here's what she's won. She gets a Zoom with the Drama Queens, with all of us. Hello, and we're going to talk with her in a second. She gets a trip to Wilmington, North Carolina, which includes round-trip airfare domestically for the winner and one guest, a 2-night hotel stay, and a $500 Visa gift card. And we're probably going to throw in a couple of our favorite places to let her know, like a little list of all of our favorite places to go to. So can we please bring her in? I'm so excited to welcome Amanda Dortch.
Hey!
Amanda, are you there?
Hello?
There she
are.
Hi. What's up?
Hi.
You're our honorary drama queen.
Oh, hello. Hi.
Oh, hello.
I was like, I'm going to play it so cool, and then I'll freak out.
Oh,
We're not cool.
We never play it cool.
Where are you from, Amanda?
Hi, I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
That's my home away from home.
Oh, Amanda, I'm like, we're so honored that you spent the time to listen to our show and take the notes and find all these.
Yep.
I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. Thank y'all. It was so funny when the scavenger hunt was dropped. I was like, okay, yeah, these are great questions. These are just hard enough. On behalf of the fandom, y'all did great. But it was awesome. So thank y'all just for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Wilmington before?
Never. And it's so funny because my sister and we had been talking about it. We were like, we have to get down there. She's who I watch with, and we listened together. And so it was, y'all announced the podcast or announced the scavenger hunt the day before her 18th birthday.
No.
And so we were like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So she's going to go with me. And I was like,
that is so sweet.
That's
awesome. So wait, what are you the most excited to see? Because it's going to be your first time. So do you have a list of where y'all want to go?
So yes, we have of course all the landmark places, and then like we are avid listeners to the podcast, and so we've been like taking notes on where you all say, and like we're really excited to eat, of course, and so we have a little list, but of course we want all of y'all's recommendations all over again, and we definitely said we wanted to go to Recess. We definitely said that we wanted to go, just to all the trademarks, all the houses. We were talking about all the little trinkets that we're gonna pick up for the people. I know y'all had mentioned that, so we're like, okay, yeah, we'll find some cute stuff. So yeah,
beauty,
that's so great.
Yeah. Okay.
Amanda,
So what are our top recommendations? We're gonna set you up,
please,
right?
yes,
Because we also get DMs about this a lot. Everyone's like, I'm going to Wilmington. I've got 48 hours.
Yeah.
What do I do?
go.
Y'all know my first two. You have to go to get tacos at Tower 7 at Wrightsville Beach. It's just so good.
Yeah.
And
it's also just so local. That is such a standard staple Wilmington thing to do.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's such a good vibe, and it's fun because whether you go for lunch or dinner, you can go for a walk on the beach. There's so many just cute things to see out at Wrightsville, and then you've got to go when you do the downtown, like the waterfront, where Nathan gives Haley her charm bracelet, and where our, all of our little stores where our record shop was, you have to go to Kilwin's for ice cream. My personal favorite is a chocolate chip cookie dough. I don't know what your jam is, but if you get it in a waffle cone, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. I love La Catalan. I always used to go there and because you could always get a great glass of wine and you just sit on the water. So it depends on when are you going? Do you know? When
Is
you're
La
gonna go?
Catalan still open?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Is it?
I don't either.
I don't know. Riverwalk,
Amanda,
I know,
when are you
is still
going?
open.
The Riverwalk is open for sure.
Okay.
So we're still talking about it. We haven't decided on the date. So we've been working with your team, and they've been amazing. Just so y'all
They
know.
are amazing. Hey,
love
let's
hearing
give it
that.
up for our
So
team.
sweet.
So amazing.
Yes, no,
They are
so
amazing.
sweet. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, because they saw my original freak out. So shout out to them. And so we were talking about maybe going. So my little sister, she is starting college, so I'm trying to work around her schedule too. So this would be her freshman year. So we're thinking either Labor Day or right before she leaves, which is in like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Labor Day's great weather. It'll probably be good still in the water in
It'll be
2-3
gorgeous.
weeks.
Oh my
from
God,
now.
it's warm
it's
till
gonna be
like
great.
Thanksgiving with the water,
should
but
be
also
okay.
Labor Day's before hurricane season, which we learned the hard way filming this
Okay,
show.
so yes.
Right. That's right.
Don't
Gotta think
wait
about
too
that.
long.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, but to Joy's point, like glasses of wine on the Riverwalk are kind of iconic.
Oh yeah, that's so
So
great.
fun.
And then Brasserie du Soleil, that's still
Yes.
open. I hope. Just go get their steak frites and
And the mac and cheese
oh yeah, the truffle
comes in
mac.
that little tureen that they bake.
yeah.
It's all crispy on the top.
You can't touch it. It's so hot. It's
Truffle
so
mac and
good there.
cheese.
Yeah.
Antique shopping. Y'all have mentioned it before.
Oh,
Where
yes.
are
Okay,
top
Jess James Vintage always has great stuff. She curates it herself, and it's really interesting things. And Castle Street has quite a few antique
Yeah,
stores. doesn't
Castle
it?
Street, I want to say it's like below 8th. So like everything kind of below 8th on Castle Street is an antique emporium. And there's just little tiny shops all over the place. Some of them you walk in and you think it's a little shop and then it goes on forever and ever and ever.
Oh yeah.
But then there's also the Ivy Cottage, which is on
That's what I was
Market
going to say.
Street.
The cottage. Yeah. I spent a lot of time in there.
Yeah, Joy, we did some damage in there.
We did.
Guys,
Oh, yeah.
our houses were just like out of control. We'd be like,
Such old ladies.
I bought a carousel horse. What do you want from me?
It was $45. How could I not?
It was a steal.
I
yeah.
needed this. Yeah.
Okay.
Amanda, so can you tell us a little bit about your history with One Tree Hill? And I would love to know when you started watching. And just tell me more. Tell me
Of
more.
course. Okay, yes. So I was a part of the Netflix generation of One Tree Hill fandom, I guess you could say. I watched for the first time my sophomore year of college, so in 2015, and became obsessed immediately. So it was quickly became like a comfort show, and so I rewatched it right after graduation when I moved to Dallas for my first big girl job. It was my go-to show, and then same thing, like just when everything happened, and then it's also been a really big bridge for my sister and I. So she is 8 years younger than me. And it was the first show where we ever got to like talk about it. Like she had very strong opinions, you know?
Really?
So when you're 8 years apart, I think when you're growing up, it feels like I could be your mom, but really in reality, that's not true at all. But it's like,
You have to be the grown up.
Yeah.
And that was our relationship until we started talking about the show. And it was right at a peak time where like middle school and right before she started high school. And so she's talking about boys and like just messy things that are happening. So that was kind of like our bridge. And then when Drama Queens came out, we both were like, we have to listen to this. Like this is the thing that we have to. And so that's what we've been doing. And it's so funny because she's like, for both of us, listening to y'all is like being also at the big kids table. So it's also like, y'all are like our big sisters too. So we're listening. It's like, oh, did you hear that piece of advice? You should probably use that. And I'm like, yes. wait. And so we kind of go back and forth on that. But yeah, so it's just kind of come full circle. And we've had really good conversations. I think what y'all are doing is so amazing, and how you're doing it, because there are a lot of different podcasts and things out there, but I think y'all are very honest and it's transparent, because we've had conversations even, I think y'all talk a lot about duality and how two things can be true. You can love something and still critique it. And so we had that same conversation about One Tree Hill. It's like, okay, we love this show, right? But I watched it in 2015 from a different lens than what it was previously made.
Girl, I understand.
You know,
I mean,
so
we
what
get
y'all
it.
are doing is like, oh my gosh, at least they think the same thing that I did.
Yes.
And then even like, I think you can love the show and still critique it in the way of like, is it okay to love a show that you don't necessarily see yourself represented in? I think we talked about that. Y'all have talked about that too. I'm saying y'all have talked about
You were
that
there.
in the
You were
past.
with
You were with us.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I think diversity and inclusion was different. You can probably count on your fingers how many Black women are presented in One Tree Hill, especially with lines.
Yeah.
But I still love this show, and is that okay? Like, you know what I mean? So we've had conversations like that, and so with y'all critiquing it and seeing it, and that gave me permission to be like, okay, I still love this show, and I can still say how I feel, but still be a part of a fandom, you know?
We're all human. Our hearts all bleed for a lot of the same stuff, you know, no matter what background you come from, the story resonates. The stories of teenage love and confusion about, your family and struggling through friendships. These are all very real, raw things for anyone in our age bracket. I mean, for anyone in high school, like going through that stuff.
I'm just so curious about what your sister's strong opinions are. I need to get back to that. Okay. So, because we're 40-ish, and so you're talking about the 2015 lens. I'm dying to know what an 18-year-old's critique of the show is. Like, this is exciting for me.
Yes.
Okay, so she's gonna kill me. So her
oh no, we love it.
Our biggest thing has always been, we wanted Haley to stay on tour a little longer. We were like, she has to go. She has to follow her dreams. What are we talking about? And she was like, yes, of course. Like, their conversation should have been different, and she should have told him to come. But she's gonna be an icon. Like, so that was our huge conversation, because and I think maybe it's just because we pride ourselves in like, I just want to go after it, like, like that's how we are, or that was how we were seeing it. And she's so talented. That was probably our strongest takeaway. And so those are her big huge opinions. She's always been team the sisterhood. So I think, is it y'all haven't
team the sisterhood?
Yeah, so it's like in season 5, she was like, we needed to see Brooke and Peyton come when Nanny Carey was tripping. Like, why didn't they come? And why didn't they help her? And
that's right, like, damn it.
They would have been there. So yeah.
Right? We've already proven we can fight. Like, we throw fists so many times throughout the course of the series.
Deb after her.
Brooke Davis will slap somebody.
That's right.
She should have slapped Nanny Carey.
So yeah, because we got to binge it all, I couldn't imagine if I was waiting week to week, I would have been freaking out. So
it was a different time, babe. You had to wait, and then we'd have our mid-season breaks, and you'd have to wait 3 months. Like, it was crazy.
No.
That's what makes the bad episodes so much worse, is that people sat around and they had to wait a whole week, and then they sat up in front of their TV with their popcorn or their dinner, and they were like, it's on, click, and then they had to suffer through an hour of terrible writing if it was a bad episode.
Yes. And even when y'all were talking about those cliffhangers, I think I don't remember who it was, but when y'all called Dan an iceberg, from the Titanic, I was like, oh my God. It's good, so good.
So do you have a favorite episode?
Of Drama Queens or of One Tree Hill?
Of One Tree Hill.
Oh, One Tree Hill. Okay. My favorite episode. So, I don't know.
People ask us that question all the time, and I'm like, how are we supposed to pick one? Yeah.
How do you supposed to pick? So I'm a huge fan of season 3 and 6. Those are my favorite.
3 is great.
3 is so good.
Except for episode 11 that we just watched.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Did you watch episode 11 yet? Because it's grim.
Yeah, I did. No, yeah, we just
No, Amanda,
okay.
we just
Hang
watched
in
it
there.
and we were like, what? How are there
Is 12 better? I
30
really
more
hope it
minutes
is.
of
We're like,
this?
So just get to 13. Get to 13, and you're gonna be okay.
not better. Okay,
hang
we'll
in
get to
there.
13.
Hang in there. Get to 13,
Okay.
and we love
Thank
it
you.
there. We love it at 13. Okay,
Great.
That's good.
And
Perfect.
that's what I'm saying about.
That's where everything is safe again.
that's going to be the
but-
title of that episode, by the way. That's what we'll do. Where everything is safe again.
Everything is safe
Amanda
again.
said so.
Please, we'll be good. We get back. The ball gets rolling again.
Mhm.
But and that's what I love about y'all's podcast though. Is like you can say it, and I know.
Yeah.
The fandom. It just looks different all the time. So kudos to you again. Y'all handle things with such good grace. Because I've been wanting to get in the comments like, wait a minute, hang on. Like they have the opportunity to say if they don't like it. It's okay, guys. But it is always combated with something better coming down the line. So yeah, just hang in there.
Thank you so much.
It's good again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you had to do a tour of Wilmington with one character from the show, who would you cruise around with?
Hilarie.
Oh, yeah.
And
Who's your BFF?
Okay, so here's the thing: we're not going to put you on the spot. None of us. Someone other than us.
There you go.
If you had to go out with someone other than the drama queens, who would you
Do I
cruise
get to
with?
cruise around in the comment? Like, is that also?
I mean, that's
in the comment.
Okay, cool.
Ooh, okay.
you can do what you want. You're the winner.
No, yes. Oh, yeah. Love this for me.
I love this for me.
I'm going to steal that line.
Yeah.
So hard. I don't know. So I'm torn between Lee Norris
Mm-hmm.
or a day with Moira Kelly would be iconic though.
It
Oh
would
my
be.
gosh.
It would
Oh, okay.
be.
I can't pick. So can I pick those two? Like, can they
Yes.
go?
Yes.
You know what?
Okay,
What I
they're
would do if I were
they're
you?
both in the comment.
Start your day with Moira Kelly. Have a fabulous brunch.
There
do
you
the
go.
river walk. And then you hit
Yes.
those bars with Lee Norris because
There
you
go.
have never lived until you have danced with Lee Norris till 3 o'clock
That's
in the
what
morning.
I'm trying to do.
It's
Yes.
really true.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. He got on the dance floor at my wedding, and it was his wedding.
Yes,
People were like, "Oh my God, Lee Norris!" I was like, "I know. Everyone, just put your bodies around his body." It was iconic.
Please tell me y'all did the Yin Yang Twins. Please.
We did.
Did you do
Okay,
it?
so here's what I need you to know: is Lee Norris and I actually have two songs, and 369 is our first song, but Lee's favorite song in the world is "I Want to Dance with Somebody" by Whitney Houston.
no idea.
And
I was so excited when that song came on.
Stop.
And he looked at me and I just went, "I did this for you." And we ran toward each other on the dance floor. And what almost nobody knows is that since the iPhone came out when we were, I don't know, 23 or 24, so this is like over 15 years now, anytime either Lee or I is in a place where that song comes on, we send each other a video of one of us singing it. So like in our text thread, we just have like years of being like, and nobody can sing to Whitney Houston, by the way. So these videos are horrible and they can never see the light of day. But
we should compile those, Sophia. This sounds like a music video we should see.
There you go.
Truly, I will protect our secrets till the day I die. But I will say that as we're telling this story, I must concur with Hilarie. You have to end your tour with Lee Norris. It's a fact.
Yeah.
If you can hit a karaoke spot in Wilmington, like your late night options are karaoke spot, right? Either at Level 5 or Yosaki, or there's some other places that are doing it now.
Level 5 is on our list.
Level 5.
If they have a comedy show, go see it.
Yeah.
Go.
Go see a play at Thalian Hall, too, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Thayan Hall's gorgeous.
Yeah, they might have a good show on now. I don't know what's playing.
But I also would be negligent if I did not tell you to go on a ghost tour of Wilmington.
Yes. Of course.
Because, listen, I spoke to my old neighbor George. His name was George. And we spoke recently on the phone, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on? How's the neighborhood? And he's like, we got these tours coming by your house all the time. Because I lived in a haunted house downtown. And the tours, I think my house might be on the ghost tour now.
It should be,
I feel like
Hilarie.
we've talked enough about it. That
Oh, yeah.
you have the ghost tour is a weird way to spend the night. And if you're taking your 18-year-old sister and you can't
so
take her
fun.
into bars, that's like a great option. That you guys can just get a great lay of the land in Wilmington. And you can see all of these like old houses close up, all the like monuments close up. They'll show you where some of the other cool stuff that filmed in town is. There's the Carolina Apartments where they filmed Blue Velvet. There's on the corner from where I lived is where Outkast filmed Idlewild, and I just got to sit across the street while Big Boy and Audrey 3000 were across the street, and I was so excited. So yeah, go on these walking tours. They're very cool.
Yeah. Make sure you ask them to take you by the old haunted dentist's house.
Haunted dentist?
Haunted dentist.
That
You
sounds
guys,
really
it is
painful.
it's truly like it's the
Terrifying.
darkest, wildest story. But whoever's leading the ghost tour will be like, oh, she knows what's up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I
that's
like
a way to
street
get
cred,
some
thank
points. Yeah. I do too.
Go play skee ball in Blue Post.
You have to go to
Yes.
Blue Post. Oh, if you go to Blue Post, will you please let us know if our little placards from completing the beer list are on the wall? It took so
Absolutely.
many
Yes,
years to
Amanda,
earn
when you're done
those.
with all this, we want to see photos.
Yeah,
Tag
yeah.
us. Tag us.
Oh my
and
God, we
Drama
need a
Queens
photo
in photos.
diary.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
we need a photo
can
diary.
you just take over our Instagram while you're there? Can we
Ooh,
just
that's a great idea, Hillary.
You should.
let's just do
Y'all want me
that?
to cry? Oh my God. I
Yeah.
love
Okay, so you're gonna
Yeah.
create content that is gonna be our Instagram during the
You'll
course
take
of your
over
trip.
Drama
This is gonna be
Queens.
exciting.
If it's not too much pressure,
Yes.
we want you to enjoy
Yeah.
your trip. So you know,
No, I would
Yeah.
love to do that.
I mean,
Oh
you
my
don't
God.
have to like work, but you could just take us along.
Yeah,
Oh,
we want to see what you're
Oh.
seeing.
And make sure you go and visit our friend Jessie at Edge of Urge.
yeah.
She made a lot of our clothes back then, and
Oh, yeah.
still does a lot of cool stuff for
She
us
made
now.
Haley's bra the first time Haley and Nathan
Got down.
spent the night together.
Okay, Joy, what is the name of the hall so we can go see plays? What did you say it was?
Thalian. Thalian, yeah. Thalian. Thalian Hall.
It's
Okay,
beautiful.
perfect. Sorry, diligent notes here.
Yeah,
Got
no,
it.
but
it. I love
great.
You're gonna have to ride like Drama Queen's Guide to Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
right.
For
Well,
the
do
first
you-
timer.
So listen, do you have any questions for us before we, let
yeah,
you
we've just
go on
been
your adventure?
pestering you.
But I'm
No,
sorry,
no.
we've,
No, I do have a couple. Yes, hold on. Sorry, the notes app. We're gonna pull that up.
Wait, what do you do for a living? I love how organized you are.
I know.
Sorry. Well, no, I was saying that's the funny part. I spent way more time doing this than working today, so that's kind of sad. But I actually work for Microsoft currently in Detroit. I'm one of their account managers, so I work with their health and life sciences
Cool.
department.
Amazing.
So I help with hospitals and stuff.
So that's why
Great.
you're a grown up. You're organized.
That's amazing.
No, it's all pretend. No.
Sweet.
but I think that perfectly like kind of goes into my first question, I guess. So I'm 26, and what I always say about the podcast is nobody really gives you permission anymore to be messy. I think with our generation, because we have social media and we have all of these things, we're told to be a lot more careful, I guess, than other generations before us, just because it can be documented and anybody can see it and can follow you forever. And so I guess one of the things that I love about One Tree Hill, and one of the things I always see is one of the biggest takeaways is the talks about forgiveness and the art of forgiveness, and how that's kind of woven into right now. You're a teenager and you're messy, and you're in your early 20s and you're messy. Have y'all noticed any similar themes so far of like that forgiveness, that hero's journey, that rekindling of different pieces? Like, what has been your biggest theme takeaway just up into the season 3 that y'all are on?
Oh, of the show, of One Tree Hill you're talking
Yeah.
about. It is a theme that runs through. I mean, Nathan and Haley have to find forgiveness for each other and being and hurting each other and being messy. But that's really what forgiveness is for. It's not because, I mean, in my opinion, it's not for like, because you're expected to be perfect. It's because you can't be perfect and you are going to hurt someone in the process of living your life and just trying to figure out all of the important foundational questions of life that we all as humans inevitably ask ourselves and each other. You're going to hurt yourself and hurt each other. And so that's what forgiveness is for. And so it's good to put it into practice. And so, I see that a lot with Nathan and Haley, which is their marriage is a great example of that, because in marriage, you are messy and you are going to hurt each other. And so you have to be able to learn how to have that forgiveness in that context. So that's what I guess that's been mine, but also because I was close to that storyline.
Yeah, no.
Being in it and all.
Having to shoulder that bear. I think for me watching the show back, the forgiveness is the forgiveness of oneself. Peyton beats herself up about everything.
Ooh, yeah.
And I personally beat myself up about everything. And this idea that, well, when I'm older, I won't do that anymore. When I'm older, I won't make mistakes anymore. When I'm older, I'll know better. Is bullshit. It's total bullshit. Because what we figured out is that in our brains, we're all 17 years old forever. It doesn't matter if you're 25, 35, 75, you're 17 in your brain forever. Yeah. So the quicker you can learn to forgive the kid in you, the young adult in you, the parent in you, that's the phase we're in right now, the partner in you, you will be better at all of those things because you won't be doing that internal, turmoil. The internal forgiveness, just be nice to the little kid in you. That's the thing. You're always talking to the little kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. I think watching this so far, one of the things that I find really interesting about Brooke's journey is similarly to what you're saying, Hilarie, she has to learn to be nicer to herself. She has to learn to believe in herself and realize that she's worthy to be able to forgive people and to be able to set healthy boundaries for herself. Because when she doesn't carry herself in worth, people treat her poorly.
Yeah.
And the more she steps into her own power, the more she's able to be vulnerable, to admit how she feels, and to grow. And I think that was certainly my journey through my 20s. I mean, it's still a journey now, but then I was so nervous to make a mistake that I was too scared to ever ask for help, that I just walked around feeling so terrified all the time and being sure that I was the screw up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was like, hold on, all these people who I love that are awesome tell me I'm awesome. And I know I'm telling the truth that they're awesome, and I don't think they're liars, which must mean when they say I'm awesome, I am awesome. I'm fucking awesome.
You're awesome.
We're awesome. And like, it took me a while to be like, I'm cool. I'm not perfect, but like, I'm a pretty nice person. And life got easier after that. So I do really wish, like you said, Amanda, I wish that people would teach us to be a little gentler with ourselves and to feel okay admitting how we feel or what we're nervous about or what we might need help with. Because the more we can be in honest and supportive community, the better our lives are. I mean, that's why we do this show. We're just like, we just want to be together all the time. How do we do that? and look what we made.
Right. I love what you guys are saying. You know what? That's so true. The forgiving of yourself, that's one of the hardest things to do. And it's extra hard too when you are carrying it. It's hard to forgive yourself if you don't know how to forgive other people too, which is, I think, kind of what you were saying, Hill. That's like, you're so hard on yourself, and Peyton beats herself up. But then we carry that and that expectation of, well, if I can handle A, B, and C, then other people should be able to too. And then it's harder to forgive other people. I mean, I just, speaking of the topic of forgiveness, I just saw a play a couple weeks ago based on The Hiding Place. Did you guys ever read that story about Carrie Ten Boom? She was a Polish girl in the 1940s, and her family was hiding Jews in their home. And one of the soldiers, her father was a watchmaker, and one of the soldiers came to work. Before he was a soldier, he was a German man, and her father was very like, I don't discriminate against anyone, Jew, German, whoever you are. If you want to work for me, you can work for me. So this German man comes in, works for them as an apprentice. He's very unlikable the whole time. Leaves, becomes a Nazi soldier, gives their family away. They all go off to concentration camps. And her sister, who she's very, very, very close with and is like the joy and the light. And Corey's the one who's like, I hate these people. And her sister is the one who's just like, it's okay. Just God wants us to love everyone. Let's just share love and be love and forgive. And, they don't know. And sorry, they're telling me to speed it up. I'm speeding. I'm sorry. But it's beautiful. It's this amazing, mind-blowing story because in the end, it's all over. The war is over, and they're all just living in the aftermath. And Corey's sister has died in the concentration camp, and so she's carrying all this anger. And as she is walking through a train station one day, she runs into this former soldier who sent her to the camp and who was the cause. This is a true story.
Oh my God!
And he was the cause of her sister's death. And he stops her and he says, I know what I did. I'm so sorry. I've had an awakening in life, and I don't know any other way to apologize except to say that I'm so sorry. And can you ever forgive me? And there's this beautiful moment where she just stands at him and stares at him and finally embraces him. Oh. And that's it. And then it's like, that's it. We're walking away and we're done. And this moment, and there's a quote in the play that's forgiveness is scandalous. It's not something that's easily given. And that's why it's so meaningful. Because it's not something that you can just write off and be like, yeah, I forgive you. It's easy. It's outrageous. It's scandalous. Because
how could you forgive that person?
How could you?
Yeah.
But in this recognition that we're all human, we're all susceptible of all different kinds of things. We're all capable of all kinds of things put in the right scenario or the wrong scenario, the right conditioning or the wrong conditioning. And so anyway, that level of forgiveness and humanity is a theme that I love. And I'm so happy that you brought it up. Sorry, I didn't mean to go so far off the rails, but thinking about forgiving yourself for the things that you do. And when we forgive other people, how much more that opens up for us to be able to forgive ourselves. So,
yeah.
All right,
then
sorry.
you can kiss your best friend's boyfriend twice, and then she can be the best maid of honor at your wedding.
I can always count on you for a segue, Hilarie. Thank you.
The best. Truly.
If you're going to be a fucking awful person, it's got to come full circle, and you've got to be able to say, I'm sorry. I fucked up.
There is no better breaker for levity than our sister Hilarie. Truly, it's such a skill.
Best.
I'm amazed by you.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, Amanda. Do you have any other questions? I'm sorry. I really took that over. I mean, too.
That's actually perfect. I think y'all have talked about this before because it all kind of weaves together in this really weird way. But I think y'all, drama queens has been such a big part of another theme is that rekindling within sisterhood and within friendships and things like that. Mm-hmm. And so to the points that all of you made in forgiving yourself and forgiving your sister and forgiving your significant other, I think a lot of times you hear the stories of stick by your man. A lot of people say things like that, but sometimes we throw our friendships away. So I know y'all have talked a lot about kind of how y'all swam back together. What kind of advice would you give for young women or girls and women who are looking to rebuild lost friendships or they've lost kind of that connection, and similar to how you all did, we were away for a minute, but back stronger than ever. What did that first step look like? Yeah.
Honestly, you can't dictate who your friend will grow into. Okay. Because let's say you're friends from high school, you meet when you're 15 years old. You have no control over the person your friend is going to be at 25 or 35, and so it is loving the growth in your people is really important, because we all started off, you look at Sophia, Joy, and I, we're all essentially the same person. We all grew up really, really fast. We're all pretty ADD, you know? We're all like spinning plates and hyper in a very similar way. And so we all started off at the beginning of season 1, level playing field. And then because of all the variables that were thrown at us, we all kind of found different paths. Some of us hung out more with the crew. Some of us isolated ourselves more. Some of us hung out more with the cast, you know, and we picked different paths. And it's choosing to appreciate that in your friendships, appreciate the differences, appreciate the growth, as opposed to being threatened by it or being like, no, we were supposed to be on this road together. You know, you're not doing it right. Appreciate those turns, because eventually your paths will meet up again. And then you'll have great stories to tell each other. And they'll be able to take you over onto their path, you know, which is exciting. It's been fun to like travel the roads that you guys took, because I took a very different road.
Yeah. I think it's also really important, you know, that idea, to use your road metaphor. You can't assume how someone ends up on a road. It took us until we'd had some distance to say, well, I was actually really scared. So like, I'd go over there and then, you know, 2 of us could go, wait, what? You were? Like, I always thought you were so tough. You have to realize that feelings aren't facts.
Yes.
And that very
Amen.
often the stories that we tell ourselves aren't true. They're based on the limited information that we have. And the advice that I would give to any group of friends is, remember you're all on the same team. Yeah. And if something gets weird, like this is the moral of my marriage, this is the moral of my friendships. If something gets energetically weird, it's me and you against the problem. It is never me and you against each other.
Yeah.
And that's something we all had to learn. We did not have adults modeling that for us. And it's part of the reason that it feels really important for us to talk to you all about all of our experiences and how we grew and what therapy worked and what weird outward bound worked and like whatever we did, you know?
Just
like,
get your girls on a zip line, man.
Yeah,
Ain't nothing going
like,
to be a problem after that.
Get out
By
in
the
nature.
way, let's do that.
Honestly, yes.
Okay.
But truthfully, you know, you've got to be able to come in and say, I feel this. And be honest enough to say, I don't know if this is really happening. I don't know if you're mad at me. I don't know if I'm being left out. I don't know if, you know, I did something to hurt you, but I feel weird.
Yeah.
Will you tell me if I'm nuts or if I'm tapped into something? Is there something we need to talk about? And it could be any version of that. But I think it takes a courage to talk to your people and to just say, oh man, like, this is my stuff. I did that with Hilarie last week. We were laughing about something and I said, dude, I still have 22-year-old me brain where sometimes my brain says like X, Y, and Z to me. And she was like, you're insane. I was like, I know.
She's insane.
But the key to what you're saying.
But you have to be able to just do it together.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, the key to what you're saying and to your question, Amanda, about the first steps is humility really is that's the first step. You have to be humble enough to be vulnerable and to ask and to say the thing. You have to be willing to just, okay, I'm no better than nobody else. I'm, you know, sorry, that was a bad sentence, but you know what I mean?
No,
She's from New Jersey. She's no better than nobody else.
I ain't no better than nobody else, all right? Listen.
That's true.
I love it.
I would love for our podcast to help female friendships. If that is part of what we're building, awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, and you know, it's interesting. Like Amanda, you said it. There is a lot of messaging, right? About like, do the work in your relationship. But let me tell you what, the longest relationships of any of our lives, any of the women you're looking at right now are each other.
Oh my God. Yes.
Like you are some of the longest relationships of my life.
Yeah. Besides family.
It's why I got like all blubbery looking at my 3 girlfriends from middle school and the two of you and Danielle at my wedding. I was
Baby,
like, my
we had
girlfriends
so much fun with them in the back of the bus. It was like we were just at Sophia's wedding. It was like her childhood friends and then us, and we were all the bad kids in the back of the bus. And it was amazing. So fun.
But truthfully, I was like weeping because I was like, these people, like, this is where I learned how to love. And, you know, I'm excited for what the future holds. But to be clear, I will never be married to my husband for as long as I've been in a relationship with Hilarie, Burton, and Bethany Joy Lenz. It's mathematically impossible. And so I think we need to have cultural messaging about, like, don't forget who got you here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, like, stick with your girls.
You tell your sister we said so.
Yeah.
You got it.
Right.
Because you're an honorary drama queen, Amanda, would you like to spin a wheel and do most likely to?
It would be an honor.
Okay.
Truly.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Now you get to see behind the curtain. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, you just have to make a sound effect right now.
Okay.
What?
Most likely to, go ahead.
Not have one social media account. Oh, so not be on any social media.
So we have to pick a character and also a real life cast member.
Keith Scott.
You might be
Amanda,
onto
do you
something there.
agree?
I agree. Keith Scott.
All right.
Yeah,
who in real life?
I feel like somebody's probably said, like, Keith, you got to get the Body Shop on Instagram. And he's like, I don't know what that is.
What is a TikTok? I'm not interested.
Is he still using like the Nokia flip phone that we have in all the episodes?
100%. Still
That
has
would
like a
totally
StarTAC
be
from
an episode.
1999.
Yeah. That would totally be an episode, by the way. If we were doing the show now and Keith was still alive, it would be like a whole episode of him trying to figure out how to do a TikTok.
I would love him on TikTok. Wait, Amanda, is there anyone from our show that's not on social media that you want us to pester? Who's not on?
Who's not?
Or are
on
we
social
all
media?
just attention whores?
Is Moira on social media?
I don't think
That's
so,
it.
guys.
You nailed it.
Yeah, I
you
was
got the
gonna say,
real life
I
one.
don't think so.
No.
She's
I
not.
don't think she is.
No, which I think
I
is
wonder
why
what
I was
that
so
feels
emotional when
like.
we talked to her, because there was
I was
no way to
gonna say,
find
yeah.
her.
Yeah, we haven't been keeping up.
Yeah, no, I think it's her.
I love it.
Wow.
Okay, well, when you figure out when you're going to Wilmington, let us know, because our entire Drama Queens family is going to be rabid for pictures and information and updates. You just go down there and you throw our names around. Every time you get a reservation, you're like, wow, Sophia, Joy, and Hilarie told me to come.
They sent me
They
here.
invited me here. Yeah.
Yeah. They said to give me your best table.
Done. Meanwhile, what do we got next week?
Oh, yeah. What episode are we doing next week, guys?
Amanda said it's not good, but
You might know more about it than us. It's episode 312. She said you just got to make it to 13. Oh, I have it. The next episode, season 3, episode 12 is I've Got Dreams to Remember. And perhaps it's an episode we will all want to forget. You're welcome.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
oh, man.
Maybe you'll love it. You could love it.
I don't know.
I don't
hope so. After 11, I desperately hope to love it because today was painful, but you really turned it around for us.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
and
being
bringing
here.
us some joy.
Thank y'all so much. Truly, I love your podcast. I love y'all. I think you're incredible. So thank you.
What's your sister's name?
Thank you.
Ariana.
Okay, Ariana.
Ariana.
We're looking
All
at
right,
you two,
ladies.
kid. You guys have such a good trip, and we'll see all the rest of you next week.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to leave us a review. You can also follow us on Instagram at DramaQueensOTH.
Or email us at dramaqueens@iheartradio.com. See you next time.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.